County?
One of the best.
Sweet Jesus. Give me $50. One of my drivers just became available.
What's it for?
Bail.
Yeah, what?
Told you this wasn't gonna be.
The Ice Road entered the public conversation as a rugged, survival-driven action film that leaned heavily on atmosphere, tension, and physical danger rather than flashy superhero-style spectacle. From the moment it became known, the project positioned itself as a throwback to old-school disaster and survival cinema, where human endurance, harsh environments, and high-stakes decisions formed the emotional backbone. Its identity was shaped by isolation, extreme weather, and the idea that nature itself can be the most unforgiving antagonist, creating a tone that felt grounded and raw. Much of the attention surrounding the movie centered on how it embraced realism in both setting and execution. The concept of massive vehicles traveling across frozen terrain captured the imagination of audiences because it is rooted in real-world danger rather than fantasy. This grounding gave the film a tense authenticity, making every crack in the ice and every mechanical failure feel potentially catastrophic. The sense of scale came not from digital excess, but from the sheer vulnerability of humans operating heavy machinery in conditions that can turn lethal in seconds behind the scenes. The movie was often discussed for the physical demands it placed on production. Cold environments, logistical challenges, and the need to simulate treacherous conditions all contributed to a shoot that was reportedly as intense as the story it aimed to tell. This commitment to physicality translated onto the screen, giving the film a tactile quality that audiences could feel. Vehicles felt heavy, ice felt fragile, and the environment felt like a constant threat rather than a passive backdrop. Another recurring point of discussion was the film's focus on professionalism and duty under pressure. Rather than centering purely on spectacle, the story emphasized responsibility, teamwork, and the quiet heroism found in people who take dangerous jobs to support others. This angle resonated with viewers who appreciate stories about working-class resilience, where courage is shown through persistence and sacrifice, rather than grand speeches or superhuman abilities. The movie also sparked conversations about how modern action films can still find tension without relying on rapid editing or overwhelming effects. Many scenes were allowed to breathe, letting suspense build gradually as situations worsened. This slower burn approach made moments of danger feel more earned and impactful. For some viewers, this pacing was refreshing, while others felt it contrasted sharply with the faster rhythms of contemporary action cinema. Critical responses highlighted the film's straightforward approach. It didn't attempt to reinvent the genre, but instead focused on executing a familiar formula with sincerity. This honesty became one of its defining traits. Rather than hiding behind irony or excessive complexity, the movie took its premise seriously, which helped it connect with audiences looking for a clear, focused experience. The Ice Road also benefited from strong visual contrasts. Vast white landscapes were set against dark machinery and confined interiors, reinforcing the idea of humans carving fragile paths through an indifferent environment. This visual language supported the film's themes without drawing attention to itself, quietly reinforcing tension and isolation throughout the runtime. Audience reception reflected a divide between those who appreciated its grounded nature and those who expected something more explosive. For fans of survival thrillers, the movie delivered exactly what it promised: sustained tension, environmental danger, and emotional stakes rooted in responsibility and loss. Others viewed it as deliberately modest, preferring its restraint to the excess often found in big-budget releases. Streaming era distribution also played a role in how the movie was consumed and discussed. Viewers encountered it in a more personal setting, which arguably enhanced its intimate, claustrophobic tension. Watching the slow build-up of danger from home allowed the atmosphere to sink in, making the cold and isolation feel even more pronounced. Over time, the film developed a reputation as a solid, dependable entry in the survival action genre. It may not dominate cultural conversations for years, but it earned respect for knowing exactly what kind of story it wanted to tell and sticking to that vision. Its legacy is tied less to spectacle and more to execution. demonstrating that focused storytelling can still find an audience in a crowded entertainment landscape. The Ice Road ultimately stands as a reminder that tension doesn't require fantasy or excess. By relying on environment, human limitation, and moral responsibility, it carved out its own space. Its impact lies in how it captured the quiet terror of nature, the weight of duty, and the fragile line between survival and disaster, leaving viewers with an appreciation for stories where endurance itself is the greatest victory.